The man that was there for me in my lowest moment, I didn't even have the decency to be there for him when I knew he was going through something hard. The freaking crap, dude. Well, about time ULT starts, we get word that SEAL Team 8 is getting taken out of the rotation to Iraq and Afghanistan. And, dude, the morale at the team, it tanked, man. And so then we start moving through these training blocks in ULT, and all the old guys that are there and us new guys, like, we're like, well, we're not going to fight. So nobody's taking the training seriously. It's like, we're just going through the motions, man, because they just took the entire team out of the rotation. We get to land warfare, which is a critical training block in ULT. And our platoon chief gets fired. Now, if anybody knows anything about a SEAL platoon, a platoon chief is the glue that holds everything together, man. I mean, you got your LPO, but the platoon chief is like, man, he is a figurehead in the platoon for the guys.
LPO, for those listening, lead petty officer, the platoon.
And the platoon chief is the guy above him, right? Yeah. And so the platoon chief is like the highest level of leadership that's actually interacting and leading the guys on the ground, right? Yeah. And the platoon chief got fired just because of some, tactical mistakes he made, and I guess they didn't like the way he was leading. But up until that point, at least we had someone who was trying to lead. Mm-hmm. Like, at least we knew we had a leader, right? Like, so that presence was there. Even I back then, I had no leadership experience, so I thought he was doing a dang good job. Yeah. I thought he was doing a great job. But when he went away, they didn't replace him, which is insane. It was like insane to me. Like, even as a brand new guy, like, we're going to move forward through this training pipeline and through to deployment without this absolutely critical leadership role being filled by someone. Looking back on it, I mean, maybe I didn't think it was that big of a deal back then because I didn't appreciate good leadership back then like I do now. But looking back on it, I'm like, I can't believe the Navy let that happen. Yeah. And so when he went away, things just kept spiraling, man. And when I say that, I mean, like, the platoon started to become fractured, and there were these little groups and cliques, and a lot of arguing, and a lot of contention, man. And again, in our off time, we're not doing good things, and I'm spiraling probably harder than anyone. Yeah. I mean, I am going, by the time we go on deployment, and we got slated for a UCOM deployment, just doing JSETs with, different countries all over Europe. By the time we left on deployment, I was involved in all manner of sin. Sexual sin, alcohol, pornography, all manner of sin I was partaking in. And something about sin, man, sin will take you further than you want to go. Oh, it'll take you way further than you want to go. Yeah. And I was involved in all of it. And I was eating it up, man. And I had no other, felt like I had no other purpose or anything but to go perform at work in some capacity, and then to get off and go find different women to sleep with and get hammered drunk and act a fool. I didn't realize where that was taking me, man. It was taking me to a bad place. And so we go on to deployment, and that's, my sin just follows me. Sure. Because there's time for me to keep it up, and we're in a place where I can go get hammered drunk every night, right? And I can find women to sleep with, and I've got an internet connection. And by the way, I'm single now. There's no way to go over all parts of this story, but Brooke and I had broken up, and I was single.
You guys met when you were in high school, right?
We met before I joined the Navy, yeah.
So high school, sweethearts.
But we had broken up in this season. And thank God I was single, because I don't know that I could live with it now if I would have been doing all that while I was in a commitment with her. Yeah. Thank God I don't have to bear that burden. I know the Lord would give me the strength to do that, and I know there are men out there who are bearing that burden today. Yeah. And praise the Lord for that, man, for the healing that He can bring. He's almighty. But my sin follows me, and it just keeps going down and down and down until eventually I'm showing up for work basically just in a haze, dude. Just hung over, just in a haze. Don't care.
You're like emotionally numb?
Yeah. Don't care about anyone. I don't care about anyone. I don't care about you. I don't care about the job. I'm just a hateful, ugly person. And it all culminated with a huge catastrophe. We went to a range one day just to train, and I show up just in a haze, man, not giving a crap. And I have a negligent discharge on the range with my pistol. And pistol was pointed in a safe direction. It was pointed toward the ground, but the guy next to me was my gunner's mate. He's standing so close to me. He's right up against me. We're at the cleaning table, right? And it just wasn't angled. It was angled down, but down at an angle enough to where it grazes him in the leg. And thankfully, that's all that was. But obviously, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to change some things for you for a while.
Yeah.
Right? And when that happened, you know what, man? I didn't even care that guy was hurt. All I cared about was I wasn't going to be able to keep up my lifestyle of sin, because this was going to interrupt my lifestyle of sin. This was going to interrupt my sexual immorality that I was partaking in that place, and this was going to interrupt my going out and partying and getting drunk and acting a fool. That's what I was worried about. I didn't care about nothing else, man. After that, they basically do an investigation and stuff, and I didn't tell them that I had been, going out and getting hammered every night and all this stuff. I didn't tell them about any of that. And so they ended up sending me back home from that deployment. We were probably about halfway through. They sent me back home. I got back home, dude. I didn't even have a place to live. I had gotten out of my apartment lease and stuff because we were leaving for 6 months. All my friends were still over there. I didn't have anywhere to go, dude. So I had been messing around with these lesbian chicks before I left. And so I didn't have anywhere to go. So I went and lived on a couch with 2 lesbians for months and months. Just like a bum, dude. Like a straight freaking bum. And they put me through the whole UCMJ, all the way up to a Trident review board, where they're going to either pull your Trident or let you stay in. And luckily I had a bunch of dudes who were more mature than me, who cared about me, and who I had built a relationship with in the platoon. I had enough of them who stood up for me during that Trident review board, and they called in during the Trident review board and attested to, who I was. And, I went through all of ULT and breacher school and SQT and BUDS. I never had a single safety violation. There was nothing else on my record. You know what I mean? And so these guys stood up for me. And one guy in particular stood up for me. His name was Jake Huffman. And Jake was my sea daddy. Jake was the guy who, when I showed up to SEAL Team 8, he came in off deployment, and I got paired with Jake. And Jake had 2 or 3 platoons under his belt at that time. Jake taught me everything, but he couldn't control my sin, right? Mm-hmm. But he taught me everything in terms of how to do the job, how to be a good breacher, we were engineering reps together, how to prepare for these training trips. He mentored me. When I would make a mistake, he would correct me. But because of my sin that I was participating in, his mentorship wasn't enough to save me from where I was going. But Jake stood up for me, and Jake carried some weight because he had been around the team for a while, and they let me keep my Trident. And they moved me into an office where my penance was what I had to pay. I had like half month's pay times 2 and all that stuff, which is whatever, man. Take my money. I don't give a crap. I'm living with 2 lesbians on a couch. Like, if I got money to drink and act a fool, I don't care about anything else. But my penance was I had to spend it was probably 8 months in this office working for the gunner's mates, doing weapons inventories and stuff like that.
Which is somewhat humiliating for a team guy.
Oh, it's totally. Yeah. It was humiliating, but again, I was so cold, man, whatever, man.
Yeah.
And so that platoon, while I'm doing that, they finish up their deployment, and I think they go through another workup and then a little short deployment. And then I get to roll back in with them, that same platoon. I roll into that platoon, and there's a new platoon chief there, but I don't think he was ready to handle the problems that platoon had. God bless him, man. I wish I could see him again one day, because I truly believe he had a really good heart, man. But it wasn't enough to turn that around. I get back into that platoon, and my buddy Jake Huffman's still there in the platoon, right? My sea daddy, man, this dude that was there for me in my lowest moment. Shortly after I got in the platoon, the platoon chief calls us all together, and he says, hey, you guys are going to see Jake around the office and stuff, but just leave him alone. He's going through some stuff. Just leave him alone. And so that's what we did. We'd see Jake in the office, and me being the wretched human that I was, I didn't go ask him how he was doing, what he was going through. I didn't ask him. I just left him alone. Eventually, they sent Jake to the Navy alcohol rehab program or whatever, And we went on a training trip in Fallon, Nevada. And my chief comes up and he knocks on my door. And I open the door, and he's got a glass of whiskey in his hand, and he's hammered drunk. He said, Chadd, Jake just killed himself, man. He left that alcohol program. He drove home, got his pistol, shot himself in the chest. The man that was there for me in my lowest moment, I didn't even have the decency to be there for him when I knew he was going through something hard. The freaking crap, dude.
What do you do with that?
This was the guy, man.
Yeah.
This was the guy.
This is your sea daddy, your mentor,
And so I remember, because me and Jake were so close, they asked me to go and clean his locker out, I remember cleaning out Jake's locker, man, and he was squared away, dude. This dude was a warrior, man. He was squared away. You could tell he was squared away when you went and cleaned out his locker, because all of his gear was tight. Everything was organized. He had the best, man, he was an amazing man. I so took him for granted. I remember getting down to a box in his locker and pulling out 5 Bibles, man. This dude was searching, man. I believe he could have been saved if there would have been a man present who knew the gospel of Jesus Christ, and who had the love of the Holy Spirit and the love of the Father in his heart, and he could have went that and shared that with Jake. I believe the man could have been saved, because he was searching for it. But there was no one there who could guide him, or who would guide him. But he was hunting for it, and he was hunting in the right places.